Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. A week or so ago, Valve had dropped another Counterstrike 2 update with 2 maps, and it had a cool new effect. Now of course I don't have a beta access like the most of us, so here is the video of 3-Click Phillips showcasing new glass shattering effect. A big shout out to him to allowing me to use his footage. You are breathtaking. Now I think the effect is really cool and decided to recreate it in Unity. I'm using Unity version 2023.1, but this will work on any other version just fine. Now with that out of the way, let me roll the intro. Okay, so I have created 2 Fbx models for glass panel. One is intact and the second for shattered version. I will put the link to download them in the description. Once you import them in Unity, in the import settings under model tab, uncheck convert units and check bake axis conversion. To break our glass, we will just swap our intact version with the shattered one. I've gone ahead and created prefabs for them both. I've also applied this glass material. First, we will add a box collider to our intact glass to check for collisions. Our shattered version has these shards as children. Select them all and add a mesh collider. Make sure to check the convex to save some performance. We will also add a rigid body to each and every shards to apply the physics. And set the mass to 0.3. If you want super realistic simulation, you could set a proper mass based on their volume, but 0.3 will work just fine in our case. Now for our swap logic, let's create a script. Call it glass and assign it to our intact version prefab. In our script, let's create a reference for our shattered version, so private. Because I don't want any other class to access it, then type will be GameObject, and let's call it shattered version. I will throw in the serialized field attribute to access it from the inspector. Let's create a method for our swap logic, so public, because we will call it from outside of this class. Then return type will be void, we will not return anything, and let's call it break. In our break method, let's instantiate our shattered version. We will set the same position and rotation as our intact version. Let's also grab our new game object, so type will be GameObject, and let's call it shattered glass. Let's also set the scale of the shattered glass as the intact one. Finally, we will destroy the intact version. I will also throw in context menu attribute, so it will show up in the components context menu with the name Shatter. In the inspector, let's drag our shattered version prefab. Now I have already gone ahead and set up a little scene. Let's hit play. Let's try to shatter the glass. And yep. But it looks like something is still missing, so let's add a sound effect. Now where could I find glass breaking sound? Okay, we have our sound effect. Let's open our shattered version prefab. Add an audio source component. assign our audio clip. I will also set the spatial blend all the way to 1, and in 3D sound settings, let's set custom roll off with max distance of 50. Let's test again. And yep, pretty cool. Now we want to break our glass by shooting it. For that, I'm using camera rotate script to look around, and I'm using bazooka man script from my previous video for shooting. I've attached them both on our camera. Camera rotate works on new input system, and in update method, I'm just reading the mouse delta and adding it to our camera's rotation. In bazooka man script, I'm listening for left clicks in update method, and in fire method, I'm just instantiating new projectile, adding some force, and playing the sound effect. In the inspector, I've set the projectile force 50. In fire point, we have the reference of our camera itself. I've also added another audio source component on our camera and referenced it here. This projectile is the prefab. It's just a scaled down default 3D sphere. I've attached a rigid body component with these settings. Make sure you set the collision detection mode to continuous, because it is very fast moving object and it may just pass through our glass without colliding if we keep the discrete mode. Now let's create another script. Call it projectile and assign it to our prefab. In our script, we will use onCollisionEnter method. Let's destroy our game object. Here we are telling our projectile that if you collide with anything, just self-destruct. But before that, let's call our glasses break method. So we will check that if the object we have collided with has a glass component. If it has, call its break method. Let's also derive our script from AutoDestroyClass, which is a script I have created that just self-destroy our game object after a specified time. So by deriving our projectile script from AutoDestroy, if our projectile does not collide with anything within specified time, it just self-destroy. We don't want our mesh projectile to travel infinitely. In the inspector, let's set time to live to 5, so self-destruct after 5 seconds. I've also created this crosshair, which is just a knob on a canvas. Let's hit play. And yep, our logic is working. However, our glass just crumbles down regardless of where our bullets collided with it. We want some heavy impact feel. To do that, we will take the position of our bullet at the time of collision. Our intact glass will be replaced by shattered version. Our bullet will also destroy, but we will have its position. We will cast a sphere from that position and will apply force on all the rigid bodies that will be in our sphere. For that, let's create another script, call it shattered glass, and assign it to our shattered version prefab. In our script, let's define two fields, explosive force and explosive radius. Now these values will depend on your game. I mean, I have only single type of projectile. You might have bullets with different caliber and rockets and stuff, so you have to pass these values based on your game mechanics. I'm just going to set it from the inspector, so let me throw the serialized field attribute. And we'll pass default values as well. Let's create a method called apply force. keep it public because we will call it from outside of the class. We will also pass the projectile position in our parameter. Now let's cast a sphere, so physics.overlap sphere from our projectile's position, and its radius will be the explosive radius. This will return array of colliders overlapped by the sphere. Let's grab them, so colliders array, and call them colliders. We will loop through each of them and check if it has a rigid body. If it does, we will add an explosive force, and Unity already has a nice method for that, so rigid body dot add explosive force. Then we will apply the force from our projectile's position with explosive radius. Now we will call our method from glass script. To avoid get component call, I'm going to change the shattered prefab's type from game object to shattered glass. We no longer need this context menu attribute. Then after setting the scale, let's call apply force. Now we need to pass position here, but we don't have it, so we will create a parameter and pass it. Finally, in our projectile script, we will pass the position. Let's test. And we have the invalid cast error. Now you may or may not receive this error. I think this is a bug in 2023 version. It is saying that this shattered prefab you are instantiating cannot be cast or converted to type shattered glass, even after changing its type from game object. Now I think what's happening here is, earlier when we have assigned the shattered prefab, it was of type game object. Then we have just changed the type. It also changed the icon in the inspector, but Unity still thinks it is of type game object or something like that. To fix that, remove the reference completely and reassign the shattered version. Let's test again. And now we have that impact feeling. Pretty cool. One final thing, our glass shards are staying in the scene forever and eating unnecessary CPU power. So let's just destroy them after some time. To do that, we will just derive our shattered glass class from the auto destroy. In the inspector, set the time to live to 3 seconds. And we are done. That's pretty much the video. If you find the video helpful, consider like, share and subscribe. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. That's it from me, and I will see you guys in the next one.